All right. Good morning, Deputy. Are you ready? Can you hear me, Deputy?
Morning, Judge. Yes, sir. We're ready.
Good
All right.
morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Ms. Toles. How are you? I believe we have
I'm
at
well,
least
thank
one
you.
this morning.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And like normally, like I do, Ms. Toles, I'll run through it with everyone, and then we'll bring, I believe it's the Mr. Navarro up first.
Okay.
All right. All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judge Marcus Thorpe. I'm one of the associate magistrate judges here in Clayton County. We are now streaming live on YouTube, and today is February 4th of 2024. As we move through this morning, ladies and gentlemen, if you're having trouble hearing me, please let me know, as there are a few things that I need to go over with you prior to starting court this morning, as well as during the time that I am speaking. Excuse me, during the hearing. Please listen carefully, as it will help you better understand the nature and purpose of today's proceeding. I'm going to say it a couple of times, but most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, please understand I'm not here to try your case. I'm not here to take a plea or to have any legal discussions with you about the facts of your case. Now, inevitably, someone's going to forget and they're going to come up and they're going to want to tell me about why they're not guilty or why the rest was incorrect. That's not why we're here, ladies and gentlemen. The purpose of your first appearance hearing is to inform you of what you've been charged with by the police, to advise you of certain rights, to set bond on those offenses for which the court is authorized to set bond, to schedule a preliminary hearing, and then also to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney. Now, each of you has rights that we're going to talk about. You have the right to remain silent. Again, please do not tell me specifics about your case or any legal defense you may have. As I said earlier, we are streaming live this morning. This hearing is recorded, and therefore anything you say, you make myself a witness, you make anyone else online, as well as the people around you, witnesses to things that may hurt your case. Now, during this and all other proceedings, you also have other rights. You have the right to a presumption of innocence. You have the right to an indictment by a grand jury or by for felonies or by accusations for misdemeanors. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by jury. You have the right to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your own behalf. You have the right to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you. You have the right to testify on your own behalf or offer evidence in your own defense. You have the right to an attorney to represent you. And if you cannot afford an attorney, one can be appointed to represent you if you qualify. Now, there's also some of you all who may not be citizens here this morning. Some of the charges may adversely affect your immigration status. And if that is the case, you will need to consult an immigration attorney. Now, in addition to telling you what you've been charged with, I did tell you earlier, I'm going to talk to you about bond. And of course, bond is what needs to be paid either to the sheriff or to a bonding company to allow you to be free until your case is resolved or closed or disposed or dismissed. Now, some of you all will be allowed to post what is called an unrestricted bond for your release from jail pending the prosecution of your case. These bonds may be posted in three ways. It can either be by cash, commercial, or property. If you post a cash bond, someone will deliver the full amount of the bond in cash together with any fees to the sheriff's office, who will hold that money until your last court date. So the example I like to use, if you are charged with family violence, I tell you your bond is $6,000. Then either you or someone you know may bring that $6,000 along with the fees to the sheriff, who will hold it until your case is closed, and then that money is returned to you. Now, if you don't have the full $6,000, the second way that you can make your bond is by using a commercial bonding company. Typically, a bonding company will take up to 12 to 15% of the bond for their service, and that fee is not returned to you, but you don't have to put up the rest. So again, the example I like to use, the $6,000 for family violence, you would have to come up with roughly about $750. You pay that to the bonding company. They help get you out, but that money is not returned to you. The final way that you can make your bond is what is called a property bond. As long as you or someone you know has 3 times the equity of the bond in their property, they would need to bring the deed to that property down to the sheriff's office, and the sheriff will hold it until such time as your case is closed. So if your bond is $6,000 and you know someone who owns a home that is worth more than $18,000, they can bring their deed down to the sheriff's office, and the sheriff again will hold it until your case is closed, so long as you attend all of your court dates. Now, in addition to the bond amounts that I will tell you, each of you will have a condition on your bond that you are not to violate the laws while out on bond. And some of you will have additional conditions that prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to certain places. So if you have a no contact provision on your bond, this means you must stay away and have no contact with the alleged victim on your case. You may not call, text, email, write a letter to, or contact through any social media platform. You can't even do something nice for that person, such as sending them flowers or a nice song. As nice as that may be, it will be a violation of your bond. If I tell you you cannot return to a particular location, that means you cannot go back to that location for any reason. If the no return location is a shared residence, a place you used to live before this case occurred, and you shared that home with an alleged victim, please let me know, and I will authorize you to go back, but only if you are accompanied by a sheriff to collect some of your things that are not in dispute, meaning that there is no issue with who owns the property. And you will need to do this within 10 days of your being released on bond. So again, the example I'm talking about, you're charged with family violence. I tell you that you are not to return to the place where this happened. You share that house with someone else, your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. You're to stay away from that property. You are not to contact that person. And the only time you can go back to that property is within 10 days of your release with the sheriff. Now, unfortunately, some percentage of you will be back in custody on a bond revocation because you didn't take what I'm saying seriously. And instead, some of you, ladies and gentlemen, will return to the residence after you make bond or reconcile with the victim. And what I'm trying to explain to you here is that the moment the victim gets upset, the police will be called and you will be arrested and you will be held with no bond. So please just follow this order until it is modified or your case is resolved. If you do violate a bond order and the court considers your contact intimidating or harassing, you could receive an additional felony charge, such as aggravated stalking or influencing a witness. And these types of charges carry a punishment up to 20 years in prison and a $20,000 fine. Also, let me remind you, if your spouse, family member, or friend is the alleged victim in your case, he or she cannot come down to post your bond. As remember, I'm going to say you're to have no contact with that person as a condition on your bond. So you're also not allowed to contact the victim while you're in jail. So if the alleged victim is the one that's going to try to help you bond out and you're charged with a charge and I tell you not to have contact, they can't even come down to help you bond out. Now, there are going to be some of you who are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail. In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled before a judge of the Superior Court of Clayton County. If you are currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set bond at this time. Whether a bond is appropriate in your case will be reconsidered after your probation officer has had an opportunity to consider the new arrest. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, just one last thing I want to talk about, and that's called the preliminary hearing. If you are charged with a felony, I'm going to tell you, you automatically get your preliminary hearing. I'm going to give you that date, and you will get that hearing unless and until you make bond, at which time the hearing goes away. If you are charged with a misdemeanor, you have an option. You can either tell me, Judge, I want to have that hearing, or you can tell me, Judge, I don't want it. Please go ahead, move past the hearing, and go ahead and quickly move my case to the prosecutor. Now, the purpose of this preliminary hearing is to determine whether there is enough evidence or probable cause to keep you in custody on your charges. Now, again, if you're charged with the misdemeanor and you bond out, you're charged with the felony and you bond out, your preliminary hearing is waived because you're out of jail. But if you are charged with something such as a misdemeanor and you don't make bond and you don't want that hearing, tell me you don't. If you do, I will set that date for you. And at that hearing, you will be present, the police officer will be present who arrested you, as well as your attorney, so that the judge may review the evidence against you. Now, I don't have any preference one way or the other. I just need to make sure that I ask each of you charged with misdemeanors individually, whether or not, again, you want that hearing or you would like to have that hearing waived. Now, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'm going to have each of you please raise your right hand. I'm going to administer the oath. Ma'am, if you would, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the information that you're about to give to this court as well as any information you provided on your application for court-appointed counsel is true and correct? And if so, I need each of you to say, I do.
I do.
Okay, thank you. You may put your hands down. All right, Deputy, I understand that we did have one Spanish-speaking individual, I believe, Mr. Navarro.
It's multiple, and it's a female. We have four males and one female.
Okay. You said 4 males and 1 female.
Yes, sir. Female is normal.
Okay, Ms. Hernandez, yes.
And then there's normal.
Yeah. Step forward.
You want to? Yeah, we can do all of them right here if you want to.
Would you like to take one at once, Your Honor?
No, we can do them all together. I'm gonna speak to them all at one time. Just give me one moment here, Deputy. I'm trying to pull some of their. What other names do you have? Mr. Bautista, is that one?
Yeah, Bartiste is one. Bartiste, Perez, Bartiste.
You're breaking up there, Deputy. Can you tell me again?
We got Bartiste, Perez, Espinosa,
Okay.
Novato,
Martinez.
and Martinez.
All right, Ms. Toles, if you would, you can go ahead and introduce yourself. Well, actually, let's swear you in first. Ms. Toles, do you swear or affirm that you will do your best to translate from English to Spanish and Spanish to English the information that I'm going to provide to you this morning here at First Appearance in Clayton County?
I do, Your Honor.
All right. If you would, Ms. Toles, go ahead and please introduce yourself to these folks.
Hola, señores. Buenos días. Hoy le voy a hacer de intérprete para esta audiencia inicial.
Okay. Can you make sure and ask them, can they hear you? It looks like Ms. Norma may have some trouble. She was having trouble hearing you there.
Señor Hernández, ¿me puede oír? Sí.
Okay.
¿Me pueden oír
All right.
todos? Okay.
Okay. Get her paperwork here. If you would, Deputy, can you have them all come up a little closer so I can go over some information with them, please? All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Buenos días, damas y caballeros.
My name is Judge Thorpe, and I am here to talk with you all about your case this morning.
Yo soy el juez Thorpe y estoy aquí para hablar con ustedes sobre su caso esta mañana.
Now, my job here this morning is not to talk to you about what happened, but it is to go over with each of you what you are charged with and what your bond amount is.
Ahora, mi tarea hoy día no es hablar con ustedes sobre lo que sucedió, sino informarles de qué se le ha acusado y también de cuánto es su fianza.
Now, in so doing that, ladies and gentlemen, I need for each of you to remember that this is recorded here this morning. And so as you are speaking to me, please be careful about what you say to me, because I would hate for you to say something that is going to hurt your case.
Al hacer eso, por favor, estén conscientes del hecho de que esta audiencia se está grabando esta mañana. Así que no quiero que digan algo que les puede perjudicar. Tengan cuidado, por favor, cuando me vayan a decir algo.
Now, before we begin, however, I need for each of you to understand that each of you has rights that it is my job to protect here this morning.
Y antes de comenzar, cada uno de ustedes tiene que entender que tienen derechos y es mi deber proteger esos derechos para ustedes.
First and foremost, each of you has the right to remain silent.
Principalmente, ustedes tienen el derecho a permanecer callados.
Each of you has the right to an indictment for a felony or the right to an accusation for a misdemeanor.
Cada uno de ustedes tiene el derecho a la presentación de cargos de delitos mayores por el gran jurado o de acusación por delitos menores.
Each of you have the right to testify on your own behalf or to have witnesses testify on your own for you.
Cada uno de ustedes tiene el derecho a declarar a nombre suyo o a presentar testigos para que declaren a su favor.
Each of you has the right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford one, then I can review and determine whether or not you can have one appointed to you free of charge.
Cada uno de ustedes tiene derecho a ser representado por un abogado. Si no pudiera costear un abogado, yo puedo determinar si cumplen los requisitos para un abogado de oficio.
Each of you comes into this today with a presumption of innocence, and you are not guilty until either you take a plea or until the prosecutor proves that you are guilty of what they say you did.
Cada uno de ustedes llega aquí con una presunción de inocencia, lo cual significa que no se le determina culpable hasta que acepta declararse a los cargos imputados o hasta que la fiscalía haya probado que sea culpable de los delitos imputados.
So now what we're going to do now, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm going to talk to each of you individually. But before I do, I'm going to go through you with each of you how much your bond is and whether each of you have conditions that will require you to stay away from certain people or certain places.
Ahora voy a repasar con cada uno de ustedes los cargos imputados, pero también le voy a repasar con ustedes la cantidad de la fianza y también si su fianza conlleva condiciones las cuales prohíben que se mantengan alejados de ciertas personas o de ciertos lugares.
Now, I talk to each of you, if I tell you that you are to stay away from certain people or certain places, please make sure that you listen to me and abide by that so that you don't get additional charges against you.
Ahora, cuando hable con ustedes, si les digo que no se acerque a ciertas personas o lugares, por favor, no incumple esa orden para evitar meterse en más problemas judiciales.
Because if you violate and you talk to the person I tell you not to, or you go places I tell you don't, it could end up being new charges against you, as well as a fine of up to $20,000.
Porque si incumple la orden y habla con la persona a quien se le prohíbe hablar o va al lugar a donde se le prohíbe ir, se le puede formular cargos nuevos y se le pueden poner multas de hasta $20,000.
Now, for some of you here this morning, I am going to advise you that you will have the opportunity to be released without having to pay a bond.
Algunos de ustedes les voy a informar que tienen la oportunidad de salir en libertad sin tener que pagar una fianza.
For those of you I do not tell that to, you will have to pay a bond to be released, and you can do so in one of three ways.
Para ustedes, para los de ustedes que no le digo esa información, sí se le va a requerir pagar una fianza para salir en libertad y puede pagar la fianza en una de tres maneras.
Okay? You can do so by paying the full bond in cash.
Puede hacerlo al pagar la cantidad total en efectivo.
You can use a bonding company, which means you would only have to pay 15%, and then the bonding company would pay the rest.
Podría hacer uso de una compañía de fianza, lo cual significa que solamente tendría que pagar el 15% de la fianza y la compañía de fianzas pagará el resto.
Or you can use what is called a property bond, where it would require somebody to bring their deed to their house down, and they would use that and have the sheriff hold on to it until such time as your case is closed.
O puede hacer algo que se llama una fianza de propiedad, donde alguien tendría que venir a presentar la escritura de una casa. La oficina del alguacil guardará la escritura hasta que el caso se cierra. Luego, en ese momento, la escritura se devolverá a la persona quien lo entregó.
Lastly, I'm also going to ask each of you about what is called a preliminary hearing.
Por último, les voy a preguntar sobre lo que se llama la audiencia preliminar.
Now, in that hearing, there will be present you, the police officer, and your attorney to review your evidence.
Durante esa audiencia, usted, el agente de policía y su abogado estarán presentes para repasar las pruebas.
If I don't release you today, each of you will have the choice to make a decision if you want me to give you that hearing or waive that hearing.
Si no sale en libertad hoy, a cada uno de ustedes les voy a dar la opción de tomar la decisión detener la audiencia o de renunciar a la audiencia.
Okay. And so right now, what I would like to do as we begin is to have everyone please raise your right hand.
Entonces ahora que vamos a comenzar, si les puedo pedir por favor que levanten la mano derecha.
Do you swear or affirm that the information that you are about to give to this court
Juran y afirman que la información que van a presentar en ese tribunal,
as well as any information you provided on your application for an attorney,
y además la información que incluyeron en la solicitud para el abogado
is true and correct?
es verdadera y correcta.
If it is, please say I do.
Si es así, respondan juro. I do,
Okay.
I do.
Each of you may put your hand down.
Pueden bajar la mano.
Okay. Are you Miss Hernandez?
¿Es usted la señora Hernández? Sí. Yes.
Okay.
Hey, y'all better say-
Ms. Hernandez, you are charged with one count of driving with no license and one count of driving without a registration.
Señor Hernández, a usted se le ha imputado la infracción de manejar sin licencia y otra infracción de manejar sin registro de auto.
Now, I have taken a look at your case, ma'am, and the decision has been made to release you this morning.
Yo he repasado su caso, señora, y he tomado la decisión de dejarla en libertad hoy.
Please understand, ma'am, that does not mean that your case is going away. It just simply means that you will be allowed to go home today until your next court date.
Entienda, por favor, señora, que eso no significa que el caso se desaparezca, sino que a usted se le está permitiendo ir a casa hasta que reciba su próxima notificación de su próxima audiencia.
So please make sure that your last known address is correct here with the sheriff so that your next court date will be mailed to you.
Así que por favor a salir, asegúrese que la dirección que vaya a dejar con la oficina del alguacil es correcta para que le lleguen bien sus notificaciones judiciales.
Do you have any questions, Ms. Hernandez?
Señor Hernández, ¿tiene alguna pregunta?
No.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, if you don't have any questions, ma'am, that's all I have for you, ma'am. Good luck to you.
Muy bien, señora. Si no tienen preguntas, es toda la información que tengo para usted. Buena suerte.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Next up is Mr. Adrian Navarro.
Que siga el señor Adrián Navarro.
About to say. What's the last name?
Are you Mr. Navarro?
¿Es usted el señor Navarro?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Navarro, you are charged with one count of criminal trespass.
Muy bien, señor Navarro, se le ha imputado un delito de intrusión ilegal.
Do you understand that, sir?
¿Entiende eso, señor?
Sí.
Yes.
Now, I've had a chance to review the information here in your case.
Ya tuve la oportunidad de repasar la información aquí de su caso
And I am going to give you a bond of $2,000 this morning.
Your Honor, the audio cut out a bit. Did you say
Oh.
2,000?
Yes, ma'am, $2,000.
Thank you. Y le voy a imponer una fianza de $2,000 hoy.
Okay. Are you currently working, sir?
Señor, ¿está trabajando actualmente?
Sí.
Yes.
And how much are you making per month?
¿Cuánto está ganando al mes, señor?
La 3,500.
3,000 to 6,000.
Okay. And do you have any children?
¿Y tiene hijos, señor?
Sí.
Yes.
And how many children do you have, sir?
¿Cuántos hijos tiene?
2.
2.
Okay. Do you support them alone or do you have help from their mother?
¿Usted los mantiene solo o le ayuda la madre?
No, le ayuda a la madre.
I help the mother.
Okay. So what that means, sir, is I am not going to be able to appoint you a lawyer this morning. So if you want a lawyer on your case, you will have to hire one yourself, okay?
Eso lo que significa es que no voy a poderle nombrar a un abogado esta mañana. Entonces, si quiere que un abogado lo represente en su caso, tendrá que contratar a su propio abogado.
Do you understand that, sir?
¿Entiende eso, señor?
Sí.
Yes.
Now, I have advised you that your bond is $2,000. I have advised you that I will not be able to appoint your lawyer. The last question I have for you is the preliminary hearing. Would you like to have that hearing or waive that hearing?
Ya le informé que la fianza es de $2,000 y le informé que no voy a poderle nombrar un abogado de oficio. Por último, es la pregunta sobre la audiencia preliminar. Señor, ¿quisiera usted tener o renunciar a la audiencia preliminar?
No, renuncia.
No, I'll waive.
Okay. What's going to happen, and deputies, I'm sorry, please make sure that Ms. Hernandez signs as well as this gentleman here, that they both sign the waivers.
Yes, sir.
Señores alguaciles, por favor, que la señora Hernández y también el señor Navarro firmen sus renuncias.
Do you have any other questions for me, sir?
¿Tiene alguna pregunta más para mí, señor?
Hold on, wait
Ah,
on.
No va a poder salir ahorita, ¿verdad?
I won't get out right now, is that right?
That's correct, sir. So in order for you to get out, you would have to pay the bond of $2,000, sir.
Correcto, señor. Para poder salir usted tendrá que pagar la fianza de $2,000.
And the only other thing I want to make sure I tell you, sir, where you were arrested, that apartment complex, you will have a special condition, and that is for you to stay away from that complex. Do you understand that?
Otra cosa que le tengo que decir, señor, esos apartamentos donde lo arrestaron, si usted tiene una condición especial de no regresar, que se mantenga alejado de esos apartamentos. ¿Entiende eso, señor?
Sí, está bien.
Yes, that's fine.
All right. Do you have any other questions for me, Mr. Navarro?
Muy bien, señor Navarro. ¿Alguna pregunta más?
¿Puedo pagar con cárcel eso?
May I pay this off with jail time?
I do not have the ability to discuss that with you, sir. As I mentioned earlier, this is not the place for me to discuss a plea with you. You would have to do that after your case goes to the prosecutor.
Yo no puedo hablar eso con usted, señor. Como dije anteriormente, esto no es el momento para hablar de la posibilidad de responder a los cargos imputados. Tendría usted que esperar hasta que su caso pasa a la fiscalía.
Ok, está bien.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. Are there any other questions I can answer for you, sir?
Muy bien, ¿alguna otra pregunta que le puedo contestar, señor?
No, está bien.
No, that's fine.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Muy bien, gracias, señor.
Next up, I have Mr. Brian Bautista Perez.
Que pase, señor Brian Bautista Pérez.
Hi, are you Mr. Perez?
¿Es usted el señor Pérez?
Yes.
Mr. Perez, you are charged here with one count of speeding,
Se le ha imputado, señor, un cargo de exceder la velocidad indicada
and you are also charged with one count of reckless driving.
y también un cargo de manejar con imprudencia.
I have reviewed your history here,
Ya repasé sus antecedentes, señor,
and I have made the decision that we are going to release you this morning.
y tomé la decisión que le vamos a dejar en libertad hoy día.
Now, I need you to,
I'll take a look.
okay. I need you to understand, sir, that does not mean that your case is closed.
Necesito que entienda que el caso no está cerrado aún, señor.
So please remember that once you are released here today, to make sure that the sheriff has the best known address for you.
Así que por favor asegure que al salir de libertad hoy, que la oficina del alguacil tiene su mejor dirección de contacto.
Okay. Now, because you're being released today, the deputies will have a piece of paper for you to sign. And once you sign that paper, you should be released later today.
Como usted va a salir en libertad hoy, los alguaciles tendrán un documento que tendrá que firmar y al firmarlo saldrá usted en libertad. Okay.
All right, sir, Mr. Perez, are you currently working?
¿Está trabajando, señor, actualmente?
Sí.
Yes.
And how much are you making per month?
¿Y cuánto gana al mes?
Yeah, that's about.
2,000.
2,000,
Okay.
2,500.
So I am going to appoint you a lawyer this morning. And so if you do need help on your case, they will be able to contact you and they will assist you free of charge to you, okay?
Entonces, le voy a nombrar un abogado, señor. Entonces, si necesita ayuda con su caso, esa persona se comunicará con usted y le podrá ayudar en su caso. ¿Está bien?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for me, sir?
¿Tiene alguna pregunta para mí, señor?
No, gracias.
No. Thank you.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
Buena suerte, señor. Gracias.
Gracias, igual.
Come on.
Alright.
Thank you.
Next
Thank
up, I have Brian Martinez.
you. Que pase el señor Brian Martínez.
All right, are you Mr. Martinez?
¿Es
Yes.
usted el señor Martínez?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Martinez, you were charged here with 1 count of improper lane change,
Muy bien, señor. Se le ha imputado la infracción de cambiarse de carril inapropiadamente,
which carries a bond of $500.
el cual conlleva una fianza de $500.
Siéntate. Okay.
You are then charged with 1 count of driving with no license,
Luego, una infracción de manejar sin licencia,
and that carries a bond amount of $1,500.
que tiene una fianza de $1,500.
Your last charge is driving under the influence of alcohol, which carries a bond amount of $5,000.
Y el último delito es manejar bajo los efectos de alcohol con una fianza de $5,000.
Do you understand that, sir?
¿Entiende eso, señor? Yes.
Okay. Your total bond amount, sir, is $7,000.
La fianza total es de $7,000. Okay.
How much do you make per month, sir?
¿Cuánto está ganando al mes, señor?
Va como 4,000 así.
Around 4,000.
Okay. Do you have any children, sir?
¿Tiene
Yes,
hijos,
sí.
señor? Yes.
I'm sorry, well, you went out there for a second, man.
Sí.
Yes. Yes.
And how many children do you have, sir?
¿Cuántos tiene, señor? One.
Okay. So based on that information, sir, I am not going to be able to grant you a lawyer this morning free of charge.
Lamentablemente, basándome en esa información, no le voy a poder nombrar un abogado gratis esta mañana.
And so that means that if you would like a lawyer on your case, you will need to hire your own.
Lo cual significa, si necesita un abogado, si quisiera un abogado en su caso, tendrá que contratar.
Okay, do you understand that, sir?
Sí, señor. Yes.
Do you have any questions for me about anything at this point?
¿Tiene alguna pregunta, señor, para mí?
So, ¿puedo pagar los 7,000 para salir?
So I can pay the 7,000 and get out?
Yes, sir. If you would like to, you are capable of paying the full amount, and that would allow you to get out on bond, or you have the options that I discussed earlier.
Sí, señor. Si quisiera pagar la cantidad total, puede salir bajo fianza o puede hacerlo a través de las otras opciones que mencioné anteriormente.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have any other questions for me, sir?
¿Alguna
no.
pregunta más?
No, gracias.
No, thank you.
All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Buena suerte, señor. Gracias. Thank you.
All right. And I believe, does that leave us? We had one last one, Mr. Espinoza.
Señor Espinosa, por favor.
Sí.
Okay. Give me one moment, sir.
Permítame un momento.
All right, Mr. Espinoza, are you ready?
Muy bien. Señor Espinosa, ¿está listo? Yes.
So, Mr. Espinoza, you are charged with driving with no license, and your bond amount is $1,000.
Muy bien, señor. Se le ha imputado la infracción de manejar sin licencia. La fianza para este cargo es $1,000.
You are charged with 1 count of improper left turn.
También un cargo de doblar a la izquierda incorrectamente.
You are charged with 1 count of driving too fast for conditions.
Un cargo de manejar muy rápido para las condiciones de tránsito.
And you are charged with 1 count of improper lane change.
Y un cargo de cambiarse de carril inapropiadamente. Yes.
Your bond amount for each of those charges is $500.
La fianza para cada una de esas infracciones es $500.
Okay. Do you understand that, sir?
¿Entiende eso, señor?
Sí.
Yes.
Now, your total bond amount for that is $2,500.
Entonces, la fianza total es $2,500.
Okay. Now, I've had a chance to look at your history, and based on your facts of your case and your history, I am going to release you this morning.
Tuve la oportunidad, señor, de repasar sus antecedentes basándome en los hechos de su caso y sus antecedentes. Lo voy a dejar en libertad esta mañana. Thank you.
Okay, and so that means you will not have to pay any of the amounts that we just discussed in order for you to get out on bond.
Entonces, eso significa que usted no va a tener que pagar las cantidades que le mencioné para salir.
Do
Okay.
you understand that, sir?
¿Entiende eso, señor? Yes.
Now, I need for you to understand, however, sir, make sure that upon your release, that the jail has the best known address for you so that they can reach you and send you your next court date in the mail.
Pero sí necesito, señor, que usted asegure que al salir de la cárcel, que deje con la oficina de alguacil su mejor dirección de contacto para que se pueda comunicar con usted.
Sí, claro.
Yes, I will do that.
Okay. Now, the sheriff is going to have something there for you to sign. Once you sign that paper, you should be released later today. It's called a waiver, okay?
El alguacil tendrá un documento para que usted lo firme. Una vez que firme, saldrá en libertad. Se llama la renuncia.
Okay. Now, with that, sir, do you have any questions for me?
¿Con eso,
No.
eso, señor, alguna pregunta? No.
No,
No.
All right, I believe that's all I have for you, sir. Good luck to you.
Bueno, creo que es todo. Buena suerte.
All right, Deputy, that should be all of the Spanish speakers. Is that correct?
Yes, there is, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Toles.
Thank you so very much, Your Honor. Have a great day.
All right, you too.
You ready to
All right.
get started with the females, Your Honor?
Yes, and what we're gonna do is, Deputy, we're gonna do the JOTS folks first, since a lot of these people we just did were on JOTS.
Okay.
So I'm currently in the system right now. So I'm gonna start with Miss Cindy Calloway,
All right.
and after Miss Calloway should be Brooke Curtis. All right, are you Miss Calloway?
Yes, I am.
So, Ms. Calloway, you were charged here with 1 count of battery family violence, ma'am. Your bond amount, ma'am, is going to be $3,500. Earlier, I talked about preliminary hearing. Because you're charged with a misdemeanor, you have a right to your preliminary hearing, or you can waive your preliminary hearing, and I can send your case straight on to the prosecutor. What would you like to do, ma'am?
I want to waive it.
All right, so I'm gonna show that you are waiving your preliminary hearing. That means the deputy will have a piece of paper for you to sign here this morning, showing that you are waiving your preliminary hearing, okay?
Yes.
Now, because of that, that means when you're released here this morning, you're gonna have to make sure that whatever address we have on file is the best address for you, so that they will be able to make sure that you get your due court date, okay?
Yes.
Now, the only other thing I need to make sure you understand, Ms. Calloway, is you will have special conditions. That means you will stay away from this individual that you were alleged to have been involved in this disagreement with, Deshaun Hales, and you'll have to stay away from 6768 Bedford Road.
Okay.
And so what that means is, if this is where you were residing prior to this incident, then once you are released, if you make your bond, you have to understand that at that point, ma'am, you are going to have to get with the sheriff if you need to go over there to get any items, okay?
Yes.
All right. I've had a chance to review the information you provided, ma'am. And based on the information that you provided, I am not going to be able to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer this morning. And so what that means is, if you would like a lawyer, you will have to get your own. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
All right, ma'am. Do you have any questions about anything from me?
How much the bond again?
$3,500.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
Yes.
Any other questions I can answer for you, ma'am?
No, sir.
All right, ma'am. Well, that's all I have for you, ma'am. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up should be, yeah. See, and are you Miss Curtis?
Yes.
All right, give me 1 second here, Ms. Curtis. All right, so Ms. Curtis, you were charged with 1 count of criminal trespass and you were charged with 1 count of battery family violence. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes.
Now, the bond amount for the battery family violence is $3,500. The bond amount for the criminal trespass is $1,500. Your total bond is $5,000. You do have special conditions, ma'am, and that's to stay away from the alleged victim, Miss Javeline Curtis, as well as from 1408 Night Chase Drive. As I said earlier, if that was somewhere that you were living prior to this happening, that means if you make your bond and you've got items there that you need to get out, that you'll have to contact the sheriff within 10 days of your release. Do you understand that, ma'am? Do you understand that, Ms. Curtis?
Yes.
Now, lastly, as to your preliminary hearing, ma'am, would you like to have your hearing or would you like to waive your hearing?
Wait.
All right, ma'am. So I'm going to show that you are waiving your hearing. That means this morning, the deputies there will have a piece of paper. They're going to have you sign in about 2 seconds. You'll sign that piece of paper. And then that's all I've got for you. Okay, ma'am? Can you hear me there, Ms. Curtis?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Good luck to you. Next up, I have Amy Glaspie and then Ashanti Porter.
Okay.
Glaspie and Ashanti Porter. All right. Are you Miss Glaspie?
Yeah.
All right. Give me 1 moment here, Miss Glaspie.
Gotta keep it out. Right.
Give me 1 second. I'm just finishing up one thing, Miss Glaspie.
I see.
Thing.
I watched it the other day. Sometimes it shows up out there.
All right. So, Ms. Glaspie, you are charged with 1 count of battery family violence, ma'am. Your bond amount is $3,500, ma'am. You will have special conditions on your bond, and that is to stay away from Ms. Camry Glaspie, and then also to stay away from the address of 1113 Fairway Point Drive. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes.
All right. So now, as a part of that, we're going to discuss a couple other things. One, I talked about a preliminary hearing. Because you were charged with a misdemeanor, you have the right to that hearing, or you can waive that hearing. What would you like to do, ma'am? Would you like to have it or waive it?
Waive it.
Okay, so I'm going to show you waiving your hearing this morning. So after we're done talking, the deputies will have a document over there for you to sign. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
All right. Now, lastly, ma'am, based on the information that you provided to me this morning, I am going to be able to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer here this morning. So you will have a lawyer free of charge. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right. Do you have any questions of anything of me, ma'am?
No. Oh, yes, I do. I was gonna ask you, you said stay away from 1113. I move Wednesday. So what do I do to get my stuff out?
Well, that's what and I apologize. That's what I spoke of earlier, and I apologize I didn't repeat it to you. But you will see on your bond order, as well as I'm going to tell you here now, if you have things in that particular residence that still belong to you, and you make your bond, what you would do is you would contact the sheriff's office within 10 days of your release on bond, and they will escort you over there to get anything that belongs to you. Okay, so don't go over there by yourself. You're only allowed to go as long as the sheriff is with you, okay?
Okay.
All right, any other questions I can answer for you, ma'am?
No.
All right, good luck to you. All right, after Miss Porter should be Brainy Reese. All right, are you Miss Porter? Are you Miss Porter?
Yes.
Okay. Miss Porter, you are charged with 1 count of terroristic threat, ma'am. Your next court date is going to be March 6th because you are charged with a felony. If you don't make your bond, you're going to have a preliminary hearing, and it's going to be March 6th at 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom. Okay? Do you understand that, ma'am?
You said I was charged with a felony.
Yes, ma'am. You are charged with a felony. Terroristic threats of what you are alleged is a felony at this point. Let me ask you this, ma'am. I see here with the information that I have. Yeah, yes, ma'am, it is a felony. I want to double check. You're charged with the felony. I am, with the information I have, going to require that you stay away from Amani Porter and Fatia Porter. I understand that you're relatives. I understand that you live at 2510 Brighton Trail. But until such time as your case is closed or your bond is modified, you are not to have contact with them and you are not to go to that address. Do you understand that, Ms. Porter? Ms. Porter, do you understand? I need you to speak. I'm sorry?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I've reviewed the information that you provided. As far as an attorney, I am not going to be able to give you an attorney free of charge. You will have to hire your own as well. Do you understand that, ma'am? Ms. Porter?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Do you have any other questions, Ms. Porter?
How long I'm gonna be in jail for?
Well, I gave you a bond amount, ma'am. So if you'd like to release until your case is closed, you'll have to make that bond. And that bond amount is $5,000. So that's what has to happen. You'll have to make bond. Otherwise, you'll be in custody until your case is closed and you plea out or your case is dismissed. Any other questions, ma'am?
No.
Okay, good luck to you, ma'am. All right, last female on jot should be Miss Reese. All right, are you Miss Reese?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Miss Reese, I am showing here, ma'am, that you are charged with 1 count of stalking. Now, it is a misdemeanor, ma'am, so you have the right to that preliminary hearing that I mentioned earlier, or you can waive that preliminary hearing. What would you like to do, ma'am?
Can you explain it to me a little bit more before I answer?
Yes, ma'am. The preliminary hearing is where you're present, the police are present, and the officer who arrested you is present. And that's where they go over the information and the evidence they have against you to determine whether or not they have enough evidence to keep you in custody. If they determine that there is not enough evidence to keep you in custody, your case is dismissed, right? Or if you make bond, your preliminary hearing can be dismissed. Now, you don't have to have that hearing is what I was talking about earlier. If you determine that, in fact, Judge, I would just rather my case go ahead on up to the prosecutor, move my case a little faster, then you can tell me, Judge, skip that hearing and go ahead and send me on up to the prosecutor to try to get this resolved a little quicker.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so it's really just a chance to review your case a second time before the prosecutor gets it. What would you like to do, man? Would you like to have that hearing or for me to skip it and waive it?
Have it waived.
All right, so I'm going to show, ma'am, that you would like me to waive your hearing. I've already advised you, you're charged with stalking. We're waiving that hearing here this morning. So the deputy shortly, ma'am, will have a piece of paper that he will have you sign, okay? Now, your bond amount for a stalking charge, ma'am, is $5,000. You do have special conditions, and those are going to be to stay away from Amaya Thomas and also to stay away from 7233 Mountain Laurel Way. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Now, based on the information you've provided to me this morning, I am going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer, so you will have a lawyer free of charge to you this morning and to assist you on your case until it is closed. Do you understand that? Ma'am?
Yeah, I said, yes, sir, I do.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was having trouble hearing you. Well, that's all I have for you, ma'am. Do you have anything of me or any questions that you have for me?
Is OR not available to me?
It is not. No, ma'am.
All right, then I have no more questions.
All right. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Yeah.
All right. All right, deputies, I believe that is all the females we have on jots. So first up off jot should be Natia Kemp. And after Miss Kemp, I have Patience Lawrence. Kemp and then Lawrence. Are you Miss Kemp?
Yes, sir. I am.
Miss Kemp, you're charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. Your bond amount is $1,500. You're to stay away from the address of 8050 Terra Boulevard. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes.
Now, because you are charged with a misdemeanor, ma'am, you have the right to that preliminary hearing that we discussed, or you could waive that hearing. What would you like to do this morning? Would you like to
So
have
if I
that
waive
hearing?
my hearing, then that means it's expedited, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I like to waive it.
All right, so I'm gonna show here that you are waiving your preliminary hearing. So when we're done here talking, you and I, the deputies are gonna have a piece of paper for you to sign showing that you are waiving your hearing. Now,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
When you get done, I gotta quit.
Okay, I understand. So lastly here, based on the information you provided, ma'am, I am gonna give you a lawyer. It's gonna be free of charge for you, and that lawyer will be here to help you through your case until it's closed, okay?
Okay.
All right, what question can I answer for you, ma'am?
Okay, what's the, like, how much, like, would I have to sit here for a criminal charge span?
So your bond, as I said, was 1,500. And so what would happen is either you bond out, you can use a bonding company, or you pay that full amount in cash. If you use a bonding company, you're looking at about on
Without the
1,500,
bond, what,
about $300, $400 you have to
but
pay.
do like a time certain?
Ma'am, remember, I'm not here to discuss pleas. That's not
Oh,
what we're
okay.
here for today.
That's
So I
what
can't
it is.
even
Okay.
discuss that with you.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Next up should be Ms. Lawrence.
Right?
All right, are you Ms. Lawrence?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Lawrence, you are charged here with one count of giving false information, ma'am. I've had a chance, Ms. Lawrence, to review the information here on your case, ma'am. And I am going to give you a bond. Your bond amount is going to be $3,500. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes.
Now, give me 1 second, Ms. Lawrence, because you got a couple cases. So the bond amount on the giving a false name charge, ma'am, that's gonna be, I apologize, I was telling you wrong. So the first, you got two cases. Your first case, the giving false name, that's from February 3rd, so just yesterday. Your bond amount on that is going to be 1,500, okay?
Okay.
So on yesterday's charge, 1,500. Now, for that case, based on the information that you have provided, I am gonna grant you a lawyer free of charge, so the lawyer will be here to help you. As far as a preliminary hearing, do you want a preliminary hearing on your case, or would you like to waive it for the false name?
I can wait.
Okay. Now, you also, Ms. Lawrence, you had an outstanding, looks like a battery family violence charge as well. Were you aware of that?
No, I wasn't.
Okay. Now, for this battery family violence, it looks like the allegation, just so you understand, ma'am, was that you were involved in a physical altercation with someone by the name of Lanita Murdaugh, Murdaugh. And so when you got picked up for the false name, they brought you in on that charge as well. And that alleged incident occurred back on March 20th of 2023. It looks like you just were never arrested on that one. So I'm making you aware of that as well. Your bond amount on that case is going to be $3,500. And on that case, ma'am, you are to stay away from Jamela Philpott and this Lanita Murdaugh. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right. So again, you got two cases. You got the false name charge. You got the battery family violence. Your bond amount on the first is 1,500. Your bond amount on the second is 3,500. You have a special condition, which is to stay away from Miss Murdaugh and Miss Philpott. Okay. I have appointed you a lawyer. You have chosen to waive your right to your preliminary hearing. And so now that we're done, ma'am, the sheriff's deputy should have a document to sign, ma'am, for you, ma'am. Good luck to you. And do you have a Miss, yes, what's your last name, ma'am?
Brown.
Okay, yes, Miss Brown. Give me 1 second, Miss Brown. Do you also go by Miss Woods?
Yes, sir, that's my married
Okay.
name.
Just give me, okay, got it, because they got you in here. under a couple of names. You want to find your information here. Give me 1 second, Miss Woods. Da, da, da. Mm. It was hard finding you, Miss Woods. I gotta track you down again here because I wasn't sure if this was you or not with a different name. So I held it to the side. Okay. All right, can you hear me now, Miss Woods?
Yes, sir, I can.
All right, so Mr. Woods, you are charged with one count of obstruction of an officer for an incident that was alleged to have occurred back on September 13th of 2023. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
And so your bond amount for that is going to be $2,500. Can you hear me? Can you hear that?
Yes, I can hear you.
Now, because that is a misdemeanor, ma'am, you do have a right to a preliminary hearing, or you can waive that hearing. What would you like to do this morning, ma'am? Would you like to have that hearing or waive that?
Waive it.
All right, so I'm going to show that you are waiving that hearing this morning. Now, based on the information you provided, ma'am, I am going to give you a court-appointed lawyer here this morning. So that will be a lawyer for you free of charge. Do you understand that?
Sir.
Now, the last thing that I need for you to understand here, I'm pulling all your stuff here. The last thing I need for you to understand here is I'm giving you the lawyer free of charge. It's a misdemeanor and you're waiving that preliminary hearing. Just to keep in mind that if you should make your bond, ma'am, and you are released at some point, that you make sure that the deputies here in the sheriff's office has your last known best address so that upon your release at some time, they're able to send your mail to the correct address so you'll know your next court date, okay?
Okay.
All right, ma'am, do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
All right, ma'am, I believe that's all I have for you. Good luck to you.
Take your hands out the shirt, hands behind your back.
Thank you.
You stop signing.
All right, give me 1 second here. Let me just see where we are. We're off. All right, so deputies, we'll go ahead and stay off of that right now, since we're off right now. The first person I have up is an Octavius Brown.
You said Brown?
Brown.
Yes, that should be Octavius Brown. I'm off Jots right now.
He's not gonna write dots right now. Okay.
All right, are you Mr. Brown?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Brown, your initial charges were failure to have headlights, possession of a controlled substance, a felony charge, a second possession of a controlled substance felony charge, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime. The headlight charge carries a bond of $500. The first VGCSA $3,500, the second $5,000, and as to the firearm charge, the felony charge, I have dismissed that charge against you. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, I need for you to understand, sir, I am dismissing it today. That does not mean, however, that charge may never come back. It just means as for today, that charge is going away. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
So don't be surprised if at some point that comes back. Now, based on the information you provided, sir, I am not able to appoint you a lawyer. And so that means if you would like a lawyer for your case, you're going to have to hire your own. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
So with that, I just need to give you your next court date. Because you are charged with a felony, sir, your next court date is going to be March 6th of 2024. And that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. And that's going to be via Zoom. Again, that's going to be March 26th. That's going to be 8:30 a.m. And that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. Do you have any questions for me?
Oh, that's it.
All right. Good luck to you, sir. All right. Next up should be Mr. Deshaun Coates, Coates. And after Mr. Coates, I have Brylan Edwards. Coates and then Edwards. All right. Are you Mr. Coates?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Coates, you are charged with one count of criminal trespass. Sir, your bond amount is $2,500. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, because you are charged with the misdemeanor, sir, you have a right to a preliminary hearing, or you can waive that hearing, as I mentioned earlier. Would you like to have that hearing or waive that hearing?
You can waive it, sir.
All right, so I'm going to show that you are waiving that hearing, and so the deputies will have a piece of paper for you to sign here shortly. Now, with the information you've provided, I am going to provide you a court-appointed lawyer. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions for me, sir?
Yes, sir.
What can I do for you?
Will it be, I was trying to, ask, is there any way that I can, like, I thought I was able to get the cinch bond, but with that being said, am I able to, like, I'm trying to get in contact with somebody, but I don't have a way to get in contact with them to pay my bond. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So as to the first question, the signature bond, no, sir. As to the second question, as far as contacting people, I don't have any control, unfortunately, over what happens in the jail. So you would have to speak to one of the deputies.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. All right. Should be Mr. Edwards. And after Mr. Edwards, I have Patrick Hoy Lee, L.E. Hi, are you Mr. Edwards?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Edwards, you're charged with one count of obstruction and one count of giving a false name. The obstruction carries a bond amount of $2,000. The false name carries a bond amount of $1,500. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, because you're charged with misdemeanor, sir, you have a right to that preliminary hearing that we discussed, or you can waive that preliminary hearing. What would you like to do? Have it or waive it?
I'll wait, sir.
All right, so I'm going to show you are waiving your hearing this morning. That means that as soon as we're done talking here, the deputies will have a document here for you to sign, just showing that you're waiving that hearing this morning. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions for me, sir?
No,
I'm sorry?
no, sir.
All right, sir. Well, the only other question I have for you is, or thing I have to tell you, I did look at the information that you provided this morning. Based on the information you provided, you do not qualify for a court-appointed lawyer, sir. So if you would like a court-appointed lawyer, if you would like a lawyer on your case, you will have to hire your own. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. Any questions for me based on that?
That's it.
Say that again.
That's it, sir.
All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Go ahead.
All right, should be Patrick Lee, L.E. Are you Mr. Lee?
Yes, sir.
Go back to Windsor.
All right, and deputies, after Mr. Lee, I am showing Jeffrey Lempard, Lemphard, and then Jarvis Mahan, Mahan. So Mr. Lee here, you are charged with one count of fleeing, one count of reckless driving, and one count of DUI. The fleeing from a police officer carries a bond amount of $5,000. The reckless driving, a bond amount of $2,000. And the DUI, Mr. Lee, I have dismissed based on the lack of sufficient evidence. Now, let me say, Mr. Lee, because I'm dismissing it here this morning, does not mean that it won't return. It could be that there's additional information out there that we will find out, we being the prosecutors, not myself, that they will find out. And if they find out that information, sir, they can bring this charge back against you. Do you understand that?
I understand, sir.
But as of today, that charge will be removed and you're only facing these traffic charges. Now, based on the information you provided, sir, I am going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer. So you'll have a lawyer free of charge to help you on your case. The last question I have for you is this. Because you are charged with a misdemeanor, you have a right to a preliminary hearing, or you could waive that hearing. Would you like to have that hearing or waive it?
I was confused about that part. I just wasn't
So
aware.
the preliminary hearing is where you're there, the police there, and your attorney are there to review the evidence against you. So if you don't make your bond and you're sitting in custody, you get a hearing in 30 days to determine if there's enough evidence to go forward.
I'm trying to get my bond as soon as possible.
Okay. So would you like to waive that hearing?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to show that you are waiving your hearing this morning, the preliminary hearing. And so as soon as we're done here, sir, the deputies will have a piece of paper for you to sign. And once you sign that paper, that's all I have for you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. It should be Jeffrey Lempard.
Sorry.
All right. Are you Mr. Jeffrey?
Yes.
Jeffrey, you are charged with one count of theft by shoplifting, which carries a bond amount of $1,500, one count of felony drugs, which carries a bond amount of $3,500, and one count of possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime, which carries a bond amount of $8,000. Your total bond amount is $13,000. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, because you are charged with a felony, sir, I need to tell you, your next court date, should you not make your bond, is going to be March 6th at 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, because of the information you provided this morning, I also need to tell you that you do qualify for a court-appointed lawyer. And so I have appointed you a lawyer that will be able to assist you on your case free of charge. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions for me, sir?
I'm like written down with all the charges or bond amount.
It was a
They just gave me some. And pen.
You're going in and out. Can you say that one more time?
Just ask what your bond.
Can I get my bond amount again?
Oh, yes, sir. Your bond amounts are this. Theft is 1,500. The firearm is 8,000 and the drugs are 3,500. Okay, did you get that?
They said, 1,500, 8,000.
And 3,500.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Any other questions I can answer for you, sir?
1,500, 8,000, 35.
Yes, sir.
13,000.
All right. And after Mr. Mahan should be Vontavious Monson, Monson. Are you Mr. Mahan?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mahan, you are charged with 1 count of false imprisonment, 1 count of cruelty to children, and 1 count of criminal trespass. The criminal trespass, sir, was lacking information, and so I have dismissed that charge against you. Do you understand that?
Sir.
However, the other 2 remaining charges, sir, because I understand here the information I have is you are currently on probation in Fulton County. As a result of that, sir, I am not permitted to give you a bond this morning on those charges. Do you understand that? And so what that means is I'm going to give you a new court date here. And at that new court date, the new court dates, 2 new court dates, that will be where you will go over the possibility of review of bond moving forward. Do you understand that?
Sir.
So your new court dates are going to be these. March 6th is going to be your preliminary hearing. March 8th is going to be your bond hearing. They're going to be both at 8:30 a.m. and they're going to be both via Zoom. Do you understand that?
Sir.
All right. So currently you're on a no bond, 8:30 a.m. on the 6th for your preliminary, 8:30 a.m. on the 8th for your bond hearing. Good luck to you, sir.
You know where you going?
All right. Give me 1 second, sir.
If I take it with a firearm, no, you probably wrong. No, man, no. That's
All right. Are you Mr. Monson?
It don't matter.
Yes. Is that your name?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Monson, you are charged with 1 count of driving under the influence of drugs. Your bond is 2,500. You're charged with 1 count of obstruction. Your bond amount is 2,000. Then you're charged with 1 count of driving with an open container and failure to yield. Each of those bonds is 500. So your total bond amount, sir, is $5,500. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes.
Now you are charged with misdemeanors here, so that means you have a right to a preliminary hearing I spoke of earlier, or you can waive that hearing, sir. What would you like to do here this morning?
I don't know what you mean by that.
I'm sorry?
I don't know what you mean when you said it earlier. I was
So let me do this. Let me go ahead and set that hearing date. So that hearing is a hearing where they review the evidence against you. And if there's not enough evidence, they dismiss it. If there is enough, then your case continues forward. So I'm just going to go ahead and set that hearing date for you to protect you, sir. So your next hearing date, if you don't get out on bond, is going to be March 12th at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
So you're charged with misdemeanors again. Your bond is $5,500. I've given you a lawyer, and your next court date is going to be March 12th, should you not make bond, okay? Is that a yes?
Yes.
All right. Any questions, sir, about anything before you go?
No.
Is that a no? I'm sorry, I was having trouble hearing you.
No.
All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Let me tell you what, you answer the judge, yes, sir, no, sir. All right, it's not yeah, it's not yeah, say yes, sir. Or no.
Right. All right. So with that one, we should be back on Jots. Let me just switch over. So just give me 1 second to get everything here together. I show up first, however, Rodriguez Brimage, Brimidge.
Rodriguez, Brimage.
I think that's easy.
That's cool.
The guy that's sitting there by himself.
This is so there's another guy right there.
How you say that name?
Come on, yes, sir. All right.
And then after Rodriguez should be Kale Cofield.
What was that name again, Judge?
Kale Cofield.
Oh, Cofield, okay.
All right. Are you Mr. Brimridge?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Brimage, you are charged here with 1 count of pedestrian in the roadway, 1 count of obstruction of an officer, and 1 count of felony possession. Now, because you are charged with a felony, sir, your next court date, if you don't make your bond, is going to be March 6th of this year at 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom, okay? Your bond amount is the following. The pedestrian is $500, the obstruction is $2,000, and the felony drug is $3,500 for a total bond of $6,000. Do you understand that, sir? Is that a yes? I'm sorry. All right, so your next court date, I've already told you, is March 6th. Because you're charged with the felonies, that is an automatic preliminary hearing should you not make your bond. Now, I've also had a chance, sir, to review the information you've provided to us. Now, with the information you provided to us here, I am not able to grant you a lawyer. And so what that means, sir, is if you would like a lawyer for your case, you will have to get one on your own. Do you understand that?
Absolutely.
All right. Do you have any questions about anything of me, sir? Is that no, Mr. Brimage? I need to hear you say it.
No, sir.
All right, sir. Well, that's all I have for you. Good luck to you, sir.
Next.
All right, this should be Mr. Cofield, and after Mr. Cofield, should be Bernard Dixon. All right, are you Mr. Cofield?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Mr. Cofield, you are charged with 1 count of improper lane change, 1 count of violation of seatbelt law, 1 count of possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, and 1 count of felony drugs. The improper lane change carries a bond of $500. The seatbelt charge also carries a bond of $500, and so that gives you a total of $1,000 right now. Then the possession of marijuana less than 1 ounce carries a bond amount of $1,500. The only felony charge you had was the possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, Mr. Cofield. I had a chance to review that information. Based on the current information that I have, sir, I am going to dismiss that warrant against you. So the only charges remaining are the improper lane change, the seatbelt, and the possession of less than 1 ounce of marijuana at a total bond of $2,500. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, because you are facing only misdemeanors, you have a right to that preliminary hearing we talked about, or you can waive that hearing and I can send your case on up to the prosecutor and move it a little faster. What would you like to do, sir? Have that hearing or waive that hearing?
Waive it.
All right, sir. So I'm going to show that you are waiving your hearing. And so as soon as you and I are done here, the deputies are going to have a document for you to sign. And once you sign that document, that'll be all I've got for you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Come on,
All right, to be Mr. Dixon, and then after Mr. Dixon, we've got Cedric Glaze and Mr. Greenridge. All right, are you Mr. Dixon?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Mr. Dixon, give me 1 second here.
Yes, all right.
I'll be right with you, Mr. Dixon.
Right side.
Mr. Dixon?
All right, so Mr. Dixon, you were charged with 1 count of misdemeanor marijuana and 1 count of possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime. Mr. Dixon, I had a chance to review the information that the officers had of you, and I have found that it to be insufficient, and so I've dismissed the felony gun charge. So that remains the misdemeanor marijuana, which carries a bond amount, sir, of $1,500 for you. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, with the information you provided, sir, I am going to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer. So you will have a lawyer on this free of charge to help you on your case. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, the last thing I have for you is because this is a misdemeanor, you have a right to your preliminary hearing, or you have a right to waive the hearing. What would you like to do? Would you like to have that hearing or waive it? What would you like to do, sir?
Waive it.
All right, so I'm going to show that you are waiving your hearing. So the deputies will have a document for you to sign. And once you sign that document waiving your hearing, sir, I believe that's all that we will have this morning, and you'll be good to go, okay? Do you have any questions of me before I let you go?
No, sir.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
Thanks.
All right, next up should be Mr. Glaze. Yep, I had Glaze next. Are you Mr. Glaze?
Yes, sir.
And after Glaze should be Greenridge. All right, so Mr. Glaze, you are charged here with DUI less safe. You are charged with possession of less than 1 ounce of marijuana. You're charged with impeding the flow of traffic, violation of a seatbelt law, and you're also charged with 1 count of possession of a drug-related object as a misdemeanor. I've reviewed the warrant, sir. I am dismissing the drug object, and so you will not have that against you. Do you understand that? I'm sorry?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the remaining charges, we're going to go through your bond. The bond amount for the DUI is $5,000. The bond amount for the marijuana is $1,000, and the bond amount for the 2 traffic charges is $500 apiece. So your total bond amount is $7,000. Do you understand that?
Sir.
Now, because this is a misdemeanor, you have the right to your preliminary hearing, or you can waive your hearing. Okay. Would you like to have your hearing, or would you like to waive your hearing, Mr. Glaze?
Waive.
Okay, so I'm showing that you are waiving your hearing this morning. And so once we are done, sir, the deputies will have a document that they will need for you to sign, just showing that you're waiving your hearing. Once you sign that, I believe that's all that we will have this morning, and you will be able to move forward on your case. Do you have any questions of me before I let you go, sir? Sir? I think you skipped there for a minute. Do you have any questions of me?
I said.
Okay. Well, if you don't have any questions,
It's 7,000, bro.
it's 7,000. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Any other questions?
That's all.
All right. Good luck to you. All right. Should be Mr. Greenridge, and after Mr. Greenridge, Roberts, Rosser, and Travis. Roberts, Rosser, and Travis. All right. Are you Mr. Greenridge? Roberts, Rosser, and Travis. Are you Mr. Greenridge?
Yes.
All right. So, Mr. Greenridge, you're charged with 2 counts of felony possession of drugs. I've reviewed your case here this morning, Mr. Greenridge, and I'm going to go over your bond amount as well as give you your new court date. So the possession of methamphetamine carries a bond amount of $3,500. The marijuana, we're reducing that to misdemeanor, so that's going to carry a bond amount of $1,000. So your total bond is $4,500. Do you understand that, sir? Now, because you are charged with felony possession of meth, your next court date is going to be March 6th, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom. So if you don't bond out, your next court date is March 6th, 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. Do you understand that?
Yep.
All right. Are you currently working, sir?
Yes.
How much are you making per month?
I don't know. I don't calculate because I'm not working
Okay.
now. So I don't know.
Okay.
I probably lost my job now.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer here, Mr. Greenridge, to help you on your case, okay? Did you hear that, sir?
Yes.
Okay. So now, again, you are charged with 2 counts. Your bond amount is $3,500. I've given you a lawyer, and your next court date, if you don't make bond, will be the 6th of March at 8:30 a.m. Do you have any questions for me, sir?
Nope.
All right, good luck to you. All right, should be Roberts, Rosser, Travis. Are you Mr. Roberts?
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Roberts, I have you here this morning charged with 1 count of simple assault. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Give me one. Give me 1 second, Mr. Roberts. Let me get all this paperwork here.
Yes, sir.
All right, so you're charged, Mr. Roberts, 1 count of simple assault. Because that is a misdemeanor, sir, you will have the right to a preliminary hearing, or you can waive that right to that preliminary hearing. What would you like to do, sir?
If I don't waive it, that means I have to stay, right?
Well, either way, you have to stay until you make your bond. Choosing to waive the hearing simply means I'll move it to the prosecutor a little faster to get it over with for you.
Okay, I understand now. I mean, I would like to take the hearing, I guess, sir.
Okay. So your hearing date, sir, is going to be March 12th at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom. So if you don't make your bond, your next time in court will be 30 days from now, March 12th. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, I need you to understand, sir, because of the charge that you have against you that's alleged, haven't been proven guilty yet, but because of this charge, you do have special conditions. Now, I need you to remember those special conditions have to be abided by should you make your bond.
Yes,
You're to stay away from Taisha Richardson, and you're also to stay away from the address of 6502 Paceland Drive. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, so that means no contact with this person unless and until your case is closed or that bond is modified. Now, the last thing I need to just let you know here is that I have reviewed the information that you provided. I am going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer, and so you will have a lawyer free of charge. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. Any questions I can answer for you?
No, sir.
All right, good luck to you, sir. Are you Mr. Rosser?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Mr. Rosser here, you are charged with one count of felony violation of drugs, sir. And your bond amount is $3,500. Now, because this is a felony, sir, I need you to understand your next court date, should you not make your bond, is going to be March 6th. That's going to be at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, the information that you provided to us this morning, sir, I am going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer. So you will have a lawyer free of charge for you this morning. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions about anything of me this morning, sir? All right, sir. So that's all I have for you. Good luck to you, sir. Are you Mr. Travis?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Travis, give me 1 second here. So, Mr. Travis, you are charged here by the police with one count of cruelty to children in the first degree and one count of battery family violence. Cruelty is a felony charge, sir. So if you fail to make your bond, your next court date is going to be March 6th at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, as far as your bond, sir, I need you to understand that you have special conditions, but let me tell you your bond amount first. The battery family violence carries a bond amount of $3,500. The cruelty to children in the first carries a bond amount of $10,000. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
So your total bond is $13,500. Now, I have reviewed the information that you provided to us this morning, sir. So you do qualify for a court-appointed attorney here this morning. So I am going to go ahead and appoint you attorney free of charge. Do you understand that? I'm sorry?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. So that's all I have for you. Do you have any other questions?
Intake. Nobody here.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
So, yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you, sir. All right, Dick, I think that leaves us. There were a couple I think I skipped over. John Seatondoff and Kevin Webb. Is that correct?
Yeah. Web and also there's Severe.
Oh, Severe. Okay, yes, and Severe. And what's your last name, sir?
Seatondoff.
Seatondoff. Okay, I got you right here. All right, so Mr. Seatondoff, you were charged with one count of felony possession of drugs. Your bond amount was $3,500, sir. Now, are you currently working, sir?
Yes.
All right, how much are you making per month?
It varies, but I'm self-employed. So,
Okay, just give me a ballpark figure.
it's a sergeant right there. You can about $3,500 a month, I guess.
Okay, so based on that information, sir, I am not going to be able to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer this morning. So you will have to hire your own lawyer if you so choose, okay?
All right.
Now, in addition to that, I need you to understand that if for some reason you don't make your bond, you will have your next court date will be March 6th, and that will be at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom, okay? So again, your bond amount is $3,500. You are charged with felony drugs. You will have to hire your own attorney, and should you not make your bond, your next court date is going to be March 6th at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, I have one question, sir.
Yes, sir.
If I do make my bond, when is my next court?
So yes, sir. Good question. So if you make your bond, then your next court date will be sent to you in the mail.
Great.
All right.
I
Good luck
appreciate
to you, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Next up should be Fred Jean Sevier, Sevier, and then lastly, Mr. Webb.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Sevier, you are charged with 1 count of felony possession of drugs. Your bond amount is $3,500, sir.
All right.
Are you currently working?
I'm on Social Security.
All right, so I am gonna appoint you a court-appointed lawyer free of charge, okay?
The person he was charged with a minute ago, I came at it with him and he's gonna hire a lawyer for us.
Well, until that happens, I'm gonna go ahead and protect you by having you have one, okay? And then if
Okay.
you end up getting a lawyer, you can just let your lawyer know and he'll change it out for you, okay?
Okay.
Now, because you were charged with a felony, sir, I need to let you know that your next court date, if you don't make your bond, is gonna be March 6th, and that's gonna be at 8:30 a.m., and that's gonna be via Zoom. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions about anything, sir?
No, sir.
All right, that's all I have, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, are you Mr. Webb?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Webb, you are charged with 1 count of aggravated assault and 1 count of simple assault. The simple assault carries a bond amount of $3,500. The aggravated assault carries a bond amount of $35,000. Your total bond is $38,500. Do you understand that, sir?
Sir.
Now, you do have special conditions here, and that is to stay away from the individual you are alleged to have been involved in this incident with, Mr. James Dixon. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, based on the information you provided, sir, you do not qualify for a court-appointed lawyer. And so that means if you would like a lawyer, you will have to hire your own. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, because you were charged with a felony, I need to tell you, your next court date, should you not make your bond, is going to be March 6th. And that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions about anything for me, Mr. Webb?
Okay.
All right, that's all I've got for you, sir. Good luck to you. All right, deputies, I believe that's everyone.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes,
All right, thank you all.
Yeah, great day, sir. Thank you.
You too. Thank you.